There are moments when heaven feels near, as if the veil between the unseen and the seen becomes thin. Enoch stood in such a moment, breathing the quiet air of a realm where time does not press and fear does not rise. His heart rested, yet it trembled with a gentle awe. Something sacred was about to unfold, and the heavens waited with him. In that holy stillness, Enoch felt the soft pull of God's presence, like a warm light resting on his soul. The place around him did not move, yet it was full of meaning, full of a peace that reached deeper than words. Every thought seemed clear, every feeling honest, as if nothing false could stand there. Enoch knew that the first judgment was near, and his spirit grew attentive. As he stood in that quiet realm, he sensed that what he would witness would shape his understanding forever. It was not a moment of fear, but of holy truth and gentle love. And with that quiet awareness in his heart, he whispered a small prayer. If you feel the same longing to understand the ways of God, let your heart stay with this story. And as you listen, consider subscribing to the channel so more souls can walk with us in these reflections. Enoch stood in a wide and peaceful space where no wind moved and no sound rose. The stillness around him felt gentle, yet full, like a quiet room waiting for a sacred visitor. He breathed slowly, letting the calm settle deep into his spirit. Heaven did not rush, and Enoch learned to wait with the same quiet hope that filled the air. The angels around him did not speak, but their silence held meaning. It was not the silence of fear, but the silence of honor, as if they knew something precious was drawing near. Enoch watched their calm faces and felt his own heart soften. In that sacred calm, he sensed that heaven was preparing for a moment that had never happened before. As he waited, a small thought rose in his spirit, a reminder of an old truth. He recalled how the holy writings once said in Habakkuk 2:20 that the Lord is in his holy temple and the earth should keep silence before him. The memory settled like a soft light inside him. It helped him understand that the stillness was not empty. It was filled with the presence of God. The deeper the silence became, the more Enoch felt the weight of eternity resting on him. It was not heavy in a painful way, but heavy in a way that made every breath feel sacred. He knew he was standing inside a moment shaped by God alone. Nothing of earth could touch it, and nothing human could break it. Enoch also felt the quiet rise of expectation, like a gentle signal moving through the heavenly place. It was as if all creation understood that the first human soul would soon stand before the Lord. This was the beginning of something holy, something that carried both truth and tenderness. The silence was the doorway for that moment to enter. He let the calm hold him, and he opened his heart to whatever God would reveal. In that sacred pause, Enoch understood that silence is sometimes the way heaven teaches. It gives space for truth to rise and for fear to fall away. He felt safe, steady, and ready for what he would see next. As you read these words, let this quiet moment speak to you as well. Let it settle in your heart and shape your thoughts. And when this scene touches you, comment your heart response in the comments and share how the silence of God has touched your own life. Enoch felt a gentle shift in the heavenly air, as if the stillness itself opened a path. He lifted his eyes and saw a soft glow forming in the distance. It was not bright like fire or sharp like lightning, but calm and steady, moving with the quiet tenderness of a soul drawing near. Enoch's heart grew steady as he watched the first human spirit enter the place prepared for judgment. The soul stepped forward with slow, light movements, as if unsure of where the ground began or ended. It carried the memory of earth in its steps, a memory that felt both near and far. Enoch saw that the soul trembled, not from terror, but from the weight of entering a realm where nothing could be hidden. The trembling was a sign of truth awakening, not fear taking hold. As it moved closer, Enoch heard the faint sound of its breathing, soft and uneven. That fragile breath slowly changed into a small prayer, whispered from a heart that remembered God. The prayer was simple, almost like a sigh, yet full of longing. It was in that moment that Enoch recalled the words found in Psalm 34:18, where it is written that the Lord is near to the broken in heart. The memory warmed his spirit, helping him understand the soul's trembling. The soul looked around, as if searching for something it once knew. Its eyes held both hope and uncertainty. The heavenly place was new, yet it felt strangely familiar, like a truth the soul had always carried. Enoch saw that the soul did not run, did not hide, and did not argue. It simply came, bringing its whole self into the presence of God. Enoch watched closely, trying to understand every small movement. He noticed that the soul's hands were open, not clenched. Its steps did not rush forward nor pull back. Everything about the soul showed a quiet surrender, a willingness to face what awaited. Enoch realized that the first step of judgment is not a step of fear, but a step of honesty before the Lord. The angels watched with calm respect, their eyes gentle. None of them moved in haste, and none carried harshness. They simply held the space with silent honor, as if welcoming a traveler who had reached the end of a long road. Their stillness helped the soul breathe more evenly, and the trembling softened little by little. Enoch felt a stirring in his own spirit. As he watched the soul step forward, he understood that every person will one day make this same quiet journey. It will not be rushed, nor ignored, nor taken lightly, and if this moment speaks to your heart, let it settle in you with peace. After you read, curt this message to show that this gentle truth touched your spirit today. A soft stillness rested over the heavenly place as Enoch waited beside the trembling soul. Nothing rushed, nothing pressed. The quiet around them felt deep and full, as if heaven itself was preparing for a sacred sound. Enoch sensed that something holy was about to move through the air, something that would change the silence into a moment of truth. Then a voice rose. It did not thunder or shake the skies. It came like a calm breath, gentle yet sure, steady yet warm. The sound touched the soul before it reached the ear. It carried peace inside it, but also a truth that could not be ignored. Enoch felt the voice settle on his spirit, soft but strong, like a light that does not burn, yet fills every place it enters. As the voice continued, Enoch remembered the holy words from Genesis 1:3, where God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The same power was present now, but it was not sharp or harsh. It was tender, like a father calling a child back into his arms. Enoch knew without a single doubt that the one speaking was the Lord himself. The soul lifted its face, drawn by the sound that carried both mercy and truth. It did not lift its head with pride, but with quiet hope. Every part of its being leaned toward the voice, as if recognizing the one who had known it since the first breath on earth. Fear did not rise. Instead, a soft courage formed inside the soul because the voice did not accuse. It invited. Enoch felt his own heart change as he listened. The voice filled the heavens, yet it spoke as if to one person alone. It was close, personal, careful. It did not push the soul away, it welcomed it into the light of truth. Enoch understood that this is how God speaks in judgment, not to crush, but to reveal, not to frighten, but to call the soul into honest peace. The angels bowed their heads, not from pressure, but from deep respect. The voice held a purity that made every heart quiet. It passed through the heavenly place with calm strength, settling fear and lifting hope at the same time. Enoch watched the soul breathe a little easier, as if the sound itself gave rest to every hidden fear that had followed it from earth. As the voice spoke on, Enoch realized that this moment was the true beginning of the soul's understanding. Judgment was not a cold room or a harsh throne. It was the meeting of a soul with the one who had followed it through every step of life. If this gentle truth speaks to your spirit, let it guide your heart toward God. And if you walk this path with us, please subscribe to the channel so more hearts can hear these soft and holy moments. Enoch watched as the heavenly place grew brighter, not with harsh light, but with a steady glow that felt alive. The soul stood quietly, waiting for what God would reveal next. Nothing moved in haste, nothing felt confusing or rushed. The air carried a calm sense of purpose, as if truth itself was slowly unfolding before them. Enoch felt his own spirit lean forward, ready to see what only heaven could show. Then something began to open before the Lord, and the soul saw it too. It was not a book made of paper or ink. It was more like a gentle light, shaped by memory and choice. Every part of the soul's life appeared inside that light, clear and honest. There were no shadows to hide in, and nothing false could enter that place. Enoch saw how the soul watched its own story with quiet wonder. As the memories unfolded, Enoch remembered the holy words from Hebrews 4:12, which say that the word of God is living and can see the thoughts and intents of the heart. The scene before him felt exactly like that. Nothing hidden, nothing lost. Everything brought into gentle truth. Enoch understood that this revealing was not meant to harm, but to help the soul see itself as God had always seen it. Moments from the soul's life rose like soft waves. Times of kindness, times of weakness, times of silence, times of longing for God. Each memory appeared with clarity, yet no shame was forced on the soul. It simply saw what was real. Enoch noticed that some memories made the soul bow its head in quiet sorrow, while others made a small hope rise in its eyes. Everything was balanced and fair. The light did not judge by anger. It showed truth with care. Enoch saw that the soul understood this. It did not turn away from what it saw. It faced each memory with honesty, even the ones it wished had never happened. The soul did not run. It did not hide. It stood there, letting the truth shape its understanding. Enoch felt a deep respect for the soul's courage. The angels watched the unfolding life with quiet attention. They did not speak or offer any sign of approval or correction. They simply held the space with peace. Their presence reminded Enoch that judgment in heaven is not a place of fear, but a place where truth is honored. The soul's story was not measured by mistakes alone, but by the heart behind each choice. As the last memories faded into the light, Enoch felt a gentle stillness settle again. The soul had seen its life with clear eyes, and now the heart was ready to hear God's next word. If this picture of holy truth speaks to your spirit, let it move you to reflect on your own journey, and at the end of this moment, please comment below and share how this vision of honest light touches your life. Enoch waited as a new warmth began to move through the heavenly place. It did not come with fire or force. It came like a quiet sunrise, spreading gentle light around the trembling soul. The air felt soft and full, as if heaven itself wanted to wrap the spirit in peace. Enoch sensed that this moment was different from the revealing of truth. This was the moment of mercy. The soul stood still, unsure of what would come next. It had just seen its whole life opened before God, and its heart felt tender. Yet instead of fear rising, something else began to touch it. A warm light surrounded the soul, gentle like the arms of a loving father. Enoch watched as the soul slowly lifted its face, as if realizing it was not alone and never had been. As he observed this tender scene, Enoch remembered the words from Psalm 103:8, where it says that the Lord is full of mercy and slow to anger. The memory settled in his spirit like a soft truth. What he saw now was not judgment without love. It was judgment held inside mercy. The soul was not crushed by truth. It was carried by the kindness of the one who knew its heart. The trembling of the soul began to ease. the warmth wrapped around it like a gentle promise, assuring it that God does not delight in punishing his children. Enoch saw the soul take a slow, deep breath, as if letting go of a weight it had carried since its time on earth. The light did not excuse sin, but it brought comfort to the heart that had faced truth with honesty. Enoch noticed that even the angels seemed moved by the moment. Their eyes softened as they watched mercy touch the soul in a way only God could do. They understood that mercy is not weakness. It is the strength of love shown at the right time in the right way. In that warm glow, Enoch felt his own spirit deepen with understanding. God's mercy is always first, never last. The soul stood in the light, and something gentle awakened inside it. It was the sense that nothing in its life had been hidden from God's compassion. The soul did not need to explain itself. It did not need to earn kindness. Mercy came because God's heart is rich in love. Enoch felt gratitude rise within him, not only for the soul before him, but for all humanity. Mercy was for every heart that turned toward God. As the warm light continued to embrace the soul, Enoch knew that this moment would stay with him forever. Mercy had spoken louder than fear, and kindness had reached deeper than regret. If this gentle truth touches your spirit, let it move you to reflect on God's mercy in your own life. And when you feel it in your heart, please leave a comment sharing how the kindness of God helps you walk your journey with hope. Enoch felt the warmth of mercy slowly fade into a calm and steady quiet. The soul stood in that gentle stillness, knowing it had been held by God's kindness. But now another presence began to rise, soft but firm. It was not heavy. It was not cruel. It was simply true. Enoch sensed that this moment was the meeting of the soul with truth that could not be ignored or softened. The light around the soul changed from warm gold to a clear, pure glow. Nothing sharp cut through the space, yet the soul felt the weight of honesty in every part of its being. This was truth without anger. This was truth without shame. It was truth as God gives it, steady, fair, and full of purpose. Enoch watched as the soul's eyes slowly opened wider, ready to face what had always been known by the Lord. While observing this sacred moment, Enoch remembered the words from John 8:32, which say that the truth will set you free. He felt those words come alive before him. The truth did not bind the soul. It did not trap it. Instead, it showed everything clearly so the soul could understand itself before God. The truth was not an enemy. It was a guide that led the heart toward freedom. The soul looked upon its own memories again, but this time with deeper clarity. It saw the choices made in weakness and the moments where good was left undone. It did not turn away. It did not protest. Enoch heard the soul whisper, "Lord, I remember." The voice was soft, filled with both sorrow and understanding. The truth had reached the deepest part of the heart. The angels remained still, watching with gentle respect. They understood that this moment was holy. Truth is never given to destroy. It is given to heal, to reveal what must be seen, so the soul can stand in honesty before God. Enoch sensed that the soul was not being judged by fear, but by the pure light of God's wisdom. Every hidden thought was brought forward with calm clarity. Enoch felt the weight of the moment in his own spirit. He realized that every person must face this same truth one day, not as a punishment, but as a way of seeing life through God's eyes. The soul before him stood with quiet courage, letting truth cleanse what needed to be made clean. Enoch admired the strength that honesty brings when a heart is willing to receive it. As the clear light settled over the soul, Enoch understood that truth and mercy always work together in God's judgment. One brings clarity, the other brings comfort. Together, they lead the soul toward peace. If this moment speaks gently to your heart, let it open your own thoughts to God's truth. And when you feel ready, please comment below. sharing how the light of truth has helped you grow in your walk with the Lord. Enoch felt the warmth of mercy slowly fade into a calm and steady quiet. The soul stood in that gentle stillness, knowing it had been held by God's kindness. But now another presence began to rise, soft but firm. It was not heavy. It was not cruel. It was simply true. Enoch sensed that this moment was the meeting of the soul with truth that could not be ignored or softened. The light around the soul changed from warm gold to a clear, pure glow. Nothing sharp cut through the space, yet the soul felt the weight of honesty in every part of its being. This was truth without anger. This was truth without shame. It was truth as God gives it, steady, fair, and full of purpose. Enoch watched as the soul's eyes slowly opened wider, ready to face what had always been known by the Lord. While observing this sacred moment, Enoch remembered the words from John 8:32, which say that the truth will set you free. He felt those words come alive before him. The truth did not bind the soul. It did not trap it. Instead, it showed everything clearly, so the soul could understand itself before God. The truth was not an enemy. It was a guide that led the heart toward freedom. The soul looked upon its own memories again, but this time with deeper clarity. It saw the choices made in weakness and the moments where good was left undone. It did not turn away. It did not protest. Enoch heard the soul whisper, "Lord, I remember." The voice was soft, filled with both sorrow and understanding. The truth had reached the deepest part of the heart. The angels remained still, watching with gentle respect. They understood that this moment was holy. Truth is never given to destroy. It is given to heal, to reveal what must be seen, so the soul can stand in honesty before God. Enoch sensed that the soul was not being judged by fear, but by the pure light of God's wisdom. Every hidden thought was brought forward with calm clarity. Enoch felt the weight of the moment in his own spirit. He realized that every person must face this same truth one day, not as a punishment, but as a way of seeing life through God's eyes. The soul before him stood with quiet courage, letting truth cleanse what needed to be made clean. Enoch admired the strength that honesty brings when a heart is willing to receive it. As the clear light settled over the soul, Enoch understood that truth and mercy always work together in God's judgment. One brings clarity, the other brings comfort. Together, they lead the soul toward peace. If this moment speaks gently to your heart, let it open your own thoughts to God's truth. And when you feel ready, please comment below, sharing how the light of truth has helped you grow in your walk with the Lord. Enoch felt a deep calm settle over the heavenly place as truth finished its quiet work in the soul. The stillness that followed was not heavy. It was peaceful, like the air after a soft rain. The soul waited before God with open hands and an honest heart. Nothing was hidden now. Nothing was confused. It simply stood ready to hear the final word that would shape its eternal path. Then the gentle presence that had watched the soul from the beginning moved closer. The light grew steady, neither bright nor dim, but full of meaning. Enoch sensed that this was the moment when God would speak the final truth over the soul's journey. This word would not come from anger, it would come from wisdom, it would come from love, and it would place the soul exactly where it belonged. As the silence deepened, Enoch remembered the words from Matthew 25:23, where the Master says, "Well done, good and faithful servant, to the one who walked with a sincere heart." The verse settled inside him like a warm hope. He understood that the final word of God is not spoken to wound, but to reveal the true fruit of a life. Whether joyful or sorrowful, the word is always just. The soul lifted its face as the voice of the Lord began to speak again. The sound was gentle, steady, full of peace. It flowed through the soul like a calm river touching a restless shore. The fear that once trembled inside the spirit was gone. In its place came a quiet trust, as if the soul finally understood that every moment of its life had been seen with perfect care. Enoch watched as the word settled upon the soul like a soft seal of truth. It was not a long speech. It was not filled with force. It was simple, clear, and full of final meaning. The soul received the word with humility. It took it into its deepest place, knowing that this was the voice of the one who had walked beside it through every joy and every sorrow on earth. When the word was spoken, heaven moved with gentle order. Angels stepped forward with calm steps, guiding the soul to the place prepared for it. There was no confusion. There was no fear. There was only peace. Enoch felt tears rise in his eyes as he watched the soul find rest. The moment showed him that God's judgment is not chaos. It is truth wrapped in love. As the soul took its final place, Enoch felt his own heart change. He understood more deeply that every soul will hear a final word one day, and that word will reflect both truth and mercy. If this scene touches your spirit, let it move you to think about the word God is shaping over your own life. And when you feel the meaning settle in your heart, please comment, sharing how this gentle moment speaks to your journey.